In NASCAR's 75-year history, there have been many numbers come and go. On any given weekend, you will see 36 to 40 unique numbers on the track, and each of those numbers has a story to tell. Hi, I'm your host Matt, and this is NASCAR Number History, presented by Dogleg Media. In this series, we look to tell the stories of each of those numbers. Who won with the number first, who found victory lane the most, and every other driver to grab a trophy in the number. We go in chronological order, and today we explore numbers 21 through 23. If you missed numbers 1 through 20, the number history playlist will be linked below. But with that out of the way, let's dive in to some more NASCAR number history. Let's kick things off with an absolutely historic number. That is the number 21. The 21 has 92 total wins in the Cup Series with 19 different drivers. Yeah, you heard that right. 19 different winners. One of the most historic numbers in NASCAR. 6 Hall of Famers have won in the number, an absolutely insane who's who list of drivers. The first to win would be Harold Kite in 1950 at Daytona Beach. Kite would beat out Tim Flock by one race, winning the season opening race in 1950, with Tim Flock winning the very next race at Charlotte. But of course you can't talk about the number 21 car without talking about the man, David Pearson. Pearson would win in many different numbers, being second on the all-time wins list in NASCAR with 105 total Cup Series wins, claiming 43 of those in the 21. Pearson would pilot the 21 from 1973 to 1979 for Wood Brothers Racing, winning 5 crown jewels during that time, including the 1976 Daytona 500, his only 500 victory. He would lead the Cup Series in wins during the 73 and 76 seasons. However, during this time, Pearson wouldn't compete in every single race on the schedule, focusing on the higher-paying events. There were only 30 races a season from 1974 until 79 during his time in the 21, competing in less than 23 events each year he would race the 21. If the David Pearson 21 machine was at the track, there was a statistical 34% chance that he would win, which is absolutely mind-boggling. He would be named to NASCAR's 50 Greatest Drivers list and would be inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2011. And now we have a lightning round of one-time winners in the 21, 12 of them to be exact. So let's get started. The first would be Tim Flock, and again we mentioned him earlier, he would win the second ever race in the 21 back in 1950 at Charlotte. Our first Hall of Famer would be Curtis Turner. He would win in 1958 at Fayetteville, his only win in the 21, and Turner would be named to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2016. A big-time win for this driver, Tiny Lund, would win the 1963 Daytona 500 driving the Wood Brothers 21 car. And then we can't forget about the man himself, Glenn Wood. Wood would win the 1963 Winston-Salem race. He's the founder of Wood Brothers with his brother Leonard and would be inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2012. Donnie Allison would win in the number in 1971 at Talladega. Buddy Baker, another Hall of Famer, he would win the 1983 Daytona 500 in the number 23 car and would be inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2020. Kyle Petty would grab a crown jewel, winning the 1987 Coca-Cola 600. Another Hall of Famer, Dale Jarrett, would win the 1991 Michigan race and he would be inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2014. Morgan Shepherd would grab a win in the 21 in 1993 at Atlanta. Elliott Sadler would grab a win in 2001 at Bristol. And then a lot of NASCAR fans remember this one. Trevor Bayne would win the 2011 Daytona 500 driving the Wood Brothers 21. And the last time the 21 has been to victory lane was piloted by Ryan Blaney in 2017 at Pocono. Now that we got through that lightning round, let's move on to multi-time winners. Speedy Thompson would win 2 times, both in 1960. Marvin Panch would be an 8-time winner, and Panch would spend time in the Wood Brothers 21 from 1962 to 1966. Another Hall of Famer who would grab quite a few wins in the 21 would be Cale Yarborough with 13. Cale would spend time in the 21 for Wood Brothers from 1966 to 1970, winning the 1968 Daytona 500 in the number. Yarborough was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2012. AJ Foyt, a 4-time winner in the number 21. He's a motorsports legend. He would win the 1972 Daytona 500 driving for the Wood Brothers. Foyt found success in many other motorsports disciplines, winning the Indy 500 4 times, and with him being a Daytona 500 winner, that puts him in very elite company. Foyt was also named to NASCAR's 50 Greatest Drivers list as well. And then there's Neil Bonnet. Bonnet's a 9-time winner, and he would win 2 crown jewels in his time driving the Wood Brothers 21 machine, winning the 1981 Southern 500 at Darlington and the 1982 Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. Bonnet was an 18-time winner in the Cup Series, half of which would come in the 21 machine. And then we move on to the current driver of the number 21, Harrison Burton. After a rich history like that, Burton has big shoes to fill. Certainly, the 21 isn't as dominant as it was in years past, but it is still historic and prestigious nonetheless. Burton is the son of NASCAR winner and 75 Greatest driver Jeff Burton, and Burton would enter the 21 for his rookie season in 2022, earning 2 top 10s in his first season. While Burton has had a rocky start to his Cup Series career, he has shown promise recently, grabbing his first top 10 of the season at Darlington. Can Harrison get a win in the 21? If he did, it would be the Wood Brothers' 100th win in the Cup Series. That would be one heck of an accomplishment. The 21 is certainly rich with history, and I know that Harrison Burton would love to join that list of winners to make it 20. And now let's move on to the number 22. The 22 has 88 total Cup Series wins with 8 different drivers. And one of the best stats for the 22, one of the most prestigious, would be the first to win. It was Red Byron in 1949 at Daytona Beach. The 22 car is extremely significant in NASCAR number history, being the first ever number to win the championship in 1949, with Red Byron taking the title after winning 2 races that season. Then the drivers with the most wins, it's actually tied between Fireball Roberts and Joey Logano with 30 wins apiece. Fireball Roberts is a legend of our sport, and he would claim 30 of his 33 total Cup Series victories in the 22. Roberts would win 3 Crown Jewel races in the number, winning the 1962 Daytona 500 and the 1958 and 1963 Southern 500. Fireball would tragically pass away in a racing accident at Charlotte in 1964, driving the number 22 Ford. Roberts was named to NASCAR's 50 Greatest Driver list and was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2014. And now we move on to the current driver, Joey Logano. Logano would join Penske in 2013 after leaving Joe Gibbs. He would recently tie Fireball Roberts' win total in the 22, with his win this season at Atlanta. Logano is a 2-time champion and winner of the 2015 Daytona 500 and 2016 All-Star race. With Joey still being relatively young at 32, we very well could see him win even more championships. While I don't think he'll win 7, it's not unfeasible to think that he could win 4 or 5 titles by the time it's all said and done. Logano was named to NASCAR's 75 Greatest Driver list and is certainly a future Hall of Famer. Other winners in the number 22 will start off with Chuck Stevenson with 1 win in 1956 at Lancaster. Stevenson would only race in 2 Cup Series races, winning the second and last race of his career in the 22. Stevenson would do most of his racing in the Champ Car Series, now IndyCar, claiming 4 total victories in the 1952 championship. And here we go again. This is starting to be the Bobby Allison number history series. The Alabama gang member would win 17 total times in the 22, including his only championship in 1983. He would win 2 Crown Jewels in the 22, the 1983 Southern 500 and the 1984 Coca-Cola 600. Allison has won more Crown Jewels and more races and other numbers still to be discussed, so this isn't the last time that we've heard of old Bobby Allison. Dick Brooks would get 1 win in the 1973 Talladega race and would split up a tenure between Bobby Allison's time in the 22 car. Ward Burton also would get wins, with 5 of them in the 22 car. Burton would pilot the number 22 machine from 1995 to 2003 for Bill Davis Racing, where he would claim all 5 of his Cup Series victories in the 22 car. While his brother Jeff would collect more victories, Ward would be the Burton with the Daytona 500 trophy, easily the biggest win of his career. He would also claim another crown jewel at the 2001 Southern 500. And now, we leave off with the final driver to win in the 22 before current driver Joey Logano, Kurt Busch. The 2004 Cup Series champion would pilot the 22 for Penske Racing for 1 season in 2011. He would collect 2 wins that season after moving over to the 22 from the 2 car to make room for Brad Keselowski. Most of Kurt's success would come in other numbers still to be discussed, but he was named to NASCAR's 75 Greatest Drivers list and is a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. Let's cap this video off with a short one, the 23. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a short one, which is nice after the first 2 had a lot of history behind them. The 23 has 4 total wins with 3 different drivers in its time. The first to win was Frank Mundy. Mundy is the first to win in the 23, coming in 1951 at Columbia. He's also the driver with the most wins currently with 2, the second coming that same season at Mobile. The only other driver to get a win in the number 23 before the current driver was Al Keller. Keller would claim 1 win in the 23 at Savannah in 1954. Keller would also make Formula 1 starts, but never found victory lane or a podium. And that brings us to the current driver of the 23, who's also the most recent to win in the number, being Bubba Wallace in 2021 at Talladega. Wallace would begin driving the 23 for newly formed 2311 Racing in the 2021 season. He would claim his first victory of his Cup Series career at Talladega that same year, breaking a 67-year winless drought for the number. While Bubba only has 1 win in the 23, he would win at Kansas in 2022, with the same team and chassis as the 23 car. It would have a number 45 on the side due to team owner Denny Hamlin wanting the 45 to finish as high in the owner standings as possible. Kurt Busch had qualified for the playoffs with his win at Kansas in the spring, but couldn't compete for the Drivers' Championship after an injury at Pocono would sideline him indefinitely. So even though it only shows in the history books as one win for Bubba in the 23 so far, we all know that it was still the guts of the 23, with a faux pas 45 slapped on the side. Bubba has shown incredible speed since joining 2311, and it isn't crazy to think that he'll take over sole possession of most wins in the 23, and very well could see him post double-digit win totals in the number. Let me know down below how many wins you think Bubba will get in the 23 car. And that'll do it for numbers 21 through 23. This one had a couple of massive numbers. I didn't even know that the 21 had that many different winners or Hall of Famers to win in it. It's also pretty neat that if I had started this video a few months earlier, we would be talking about when Joey Logano would tie Fireball Roberts. That's just the beauty and craziness of NASCAR number history. As always, I'm prone to forgetting drivers. Let me know which drivers of any of these numbers I may have missed for this one. If you haven't seen numbers 1 through 20, the number history playlist will be linked below. Be sure to check them out. We will be back next week with numbers 24 through 26, and that video will start off with a bang as one of its numbers just earned its 100th victory, but only has ever had 2 different winners in its history. If you like the content, consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing. It helps a ton and I definitely appreciate it. But that'll do it for us here at Dogleg Media. I'm Matt, your host, and you've been watching NASCAR Number History. I'll see you next time.